to feel
the power.
That's Colin Crandall, myself, Adam Roorda, here with MMA Power Hour. Colin's actually the host. I am the co-host that just jumps in and produces, and I really don't do anything besides show my ugly face.
A valuable contribution, nonetheless.
I like to throw in some color every now and then, but
absolutely.
Everybody, this show is brought to you by none other than Lith Token. Head on over to lithtoken.io. It's LITH token.io. Cryptocurrency of choice for everybody in sustainability and ethics, and we're building some amazing physical NFT technology, one-of-a-kind technology that makes it a true physical NFT. It's the only kind out there that does that. A lot of people are talking about fidgetals or fidgetal NFTs, and ours is the only true one out there. We actually own patent or have patent pending on the IP, which is really, really cool. But I am the blockchain architect, and our show is also brought to you guys by none other than Cross-Trained MMA Fighter. Go to crosstrainedmmafighter.com to check out the gear that they have there. But hit up Colin. He's the main man. He bought it a few years ago. Actually, he did it right before one of the shows. And yeah, you can always get gear straight from him. Some of the best apparel, actually. It fits really well. It's a cool way to say that you're a fan or a fighter or just trainer. In training, I should say.
Or just train. Who trains?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Appreciate that so much, Dr. Adam Roorda. Yeah, you guys, we've got 10 left. I don't know if we're going to do another run. Definitely, most likely not in the summer and possibly not in the fall because I got a lot of other stuff going. But if you want to get one of the last 10, we're doing a little blowout. I put information up on Facebook, but hit me up inside the United States. We reduced our price $5 off the website. Actually, $6.95 off the website was $24.95 plus shipping, and we're down now at $18 plus shipping.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, and then with all the different color ink on there and the top quality shirt, that's not much profit at all off of what I paid. But I'm still willing to do it because I want to put some cross-trained MMA fight gear on you. We only got like a larger 2 left, several mediums, and maybe a couple small. So hit me up, and love to get you suited up in the great gear.
Awesome. Well, we have another awesome episode here coming up. Colin, who are our guests today?
Excellent guests. 3 of them affiliated either now with the UFC or in the past. The first guest is going to be Mr. Joe Selecki, coming off his great victory this last Saturday in the UFC. I think he's now 5-1 in the UFC, 5-1 or 4-1 in the UFC, with the one loss being a split decision. And so I would think he's about ready to crack the top 20 if he hasn't already.
He's 4-1, and then Dana White Contender Series also.
Yeah. So I think he's just getting close to cracking the top 20 if he hasn't already with that victory. Really good fighter out of the East Coast. And then we also have from the UFC, our third guest is going to be Vanessa Demopoulos. She's 1-1 in the UFC, but her last fight was a big win, and it was super awesome. I was there live in person. She's super excited. She's got a great backstory, and she'll be here. And then associated with UFC from 2003 to 2011, our second guest is Chris Lights Out Lytle, winner of 6 Fight of the Night awards. The dude was always in exciting fights. He knew his grappling, he knew his striking, and he is now the color commentator for the lead color commentator for Bare Knuckles Fighting Championship. He fought in that organization twice, winning both of them, and he's super knowledgeable about all combat sports. He's trained people such as Matt Mitrione and others, and he's got his own whiskey brand now, and so he's a busy man. So he'll be here with us as well.
So yeah, I'm super stoked for all these, and Chris Lytle's one of our most prized guests. Last week, actually, I think he's the only one that comes close to Rafian.
I think so. We started having Rafian, I think maybe late 18, early 19, and we started having Chris on in 2017. So I think Chris may have more visits overall, but I think maybe in the last 3 years it might be Rafian. It's possible, but we've also had Chris Brown a lot. I know you like him a lot, and we've had Lucas Brennan a few times. We have a lot of multiple guests, and we're super grateful for them as well. It doesn't matter whether you come on once or several times. In fact, the more times you come on, the more we even really appreciate you. So, we're so happy to have Chris.
Absolutely. And Colin, I mean, we have some great fights coming up this week, but man, is it crazy now with Road to UFC? Are you watching that at all?
I haven't. I've heard a lot about it, but I have not had a chance. Fill me in on what the deal is with that.
Oh, I mean, it's just pretty much like Dana White Contender Series, but it's more of a reality show right now that's geared towards just the process of earning your right.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, listen, UFC is good at shoulder programming. They're amazing at it. So.
Absolutely. Well, I'd like to talk to them because one of my shoulders is all screwed up. So maybe they could program my shoulder to kind of work better. But I don't know if they do that kind of shoulder programming, do they?
What are you doing with your earpiece there?
I am having a little problem. It seems like it's wanting to kind of come out. And I think I got it back in. Hey, I did.
I mean, it's funky. I've got to change some things over there, so I'm going to put you on the screen. Go ahead and start talking.
You got it.
That for you.
I appreciate you, Dr. Adam Roorda. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to talk for a couple of minutes here as Dr. Adam Roorda helps me out with the technical stuff, and say that we are so glad to have you here. I'm glad to be here. I'm making it a point to get healthier in 2022. The gym being closed here in California for a year and a half really threw me. I know a lot of people would say just get some dumbbells, buy some dumbbells or whatever. I did have dumbbells. I do have dumbbells, but the older you get, the harder it is to do wacky shit with dumbbells. And even if it's not wacky, the harder it is to do a lot of different exercises with dumbbells if you're not used to it and if you're well over 40. So I wasn't able to do that, and so I was just kind of being bummed for like a year and a half driving by my gym, like those stupid ads for someone in the going to whatever it is, Macy's, going open or whatever. I feel like that idiot. I'm sitting there every day going open, but nevertheless, I'm making some progress. We're finally about 5 pounds down, I think, and I got like 5 more to go to look good, and I've got 10 more to go if I want to, I think, be like even better than a couple years ago, and that's my goal. So looking forward to really making that happen. Get healthy. It's really important. The more you're in the habit of staying healthy and fit, the better. As you get older, if it's a habit stays a habit. And and I know Dr. Adam Roorda knows because he's creating some good new habits and breaking some old bad habits. But it's, the more you can not get into a bad habit, the better, because, like I said, habits will stick with you. People that brush their teeth twice a day or even 3 times at 25 are still doing it at 45, and the workouts especially, and eating clean, and, that's, so do that for you. And I know the younger you are, the less important it really seems to obsess with it, but never hurts. The sooner you can get a good habit started, the better your life will be. 100%.
So, Colin, we've already got somebody jumping in here with some comments. Everybody, you're welcome to comment, ask questions. Ibsen Arroyo is saying you should do a Dan Severn interview. We actually have.
Yeah, we did. We interviewed my fellow Michigan brother, Dan the Beast Severn, in 2017. It was, I think, in our first 10 episodes, maybe even in our first 5 episodes. And I know some people that are friends with Dan, and I will reach out. It's been a while. Why not, Adam? It's been 5 years. Yeah, let's do it. That's a good idea. Absolutely. Dan is great. I like Dan a lot. Huge respect for him. Ibsen is from Atlantic City. Hopefully I said that right. We love everybody over there in Atlantic City and Las Vegas. Place. Yeah, absolutely. Those are my 2 favorite cities for some reason. Absolutely. Gambling meccas. I like all the exciting, flashy lights really is what it is. Glamour and everything. Yeah, just the flashy lights. I like it. Nice. I get sidetracked. I'm like, shiny thing. Ugh. I know. I can relate. Such a great view of the Strip in Vegas, man. You'd love to have a place. Yeah, all those homeless people and yeah, I wasn't thinking of that, but I hear you. What else do we have? It's like coming to LA for the first time. I mean, man. You probably remember. And it's actually worse now, and it's been a long time because it's all spread out. But yeah, you think you're going to meet, the movie stars, and you're going to see. And you do if you're lucky. But more likely, you're talking to Bob and Jim, the homeless guys who live down the street, and you can have a conversation with them. Sometimes, down the street in front of your house. Exactly. Sometimes they are more witty and insightful than movie stars. I had some dude thrown down on my lawn by some cops last week, and I was like, what the heck? Man, oh man. A whole bunch of drama for nothing. Yeah, it is, man. They got to leave that drama for your mama, as the old saying goes. Like 4 cop cars pulled up, and I don't know what was going on. But yikes. It's funny. Have you ever used the Citizen app? The Citizen app. Now, I've had a Citizen Watch in the past. Was that part of the concept or not?
No. It's called Citizen app because it's all just about communities and community members and citizens taking video footage and putting it up live on live stream for the purpose of officers and everything else just going on. Just being like, hey, I'm a good Samaritan. I'm a good citizen. Whatever. I want to keep everybody up to date with what's going on. So whenever somebody gets arrested, pulled over, or, like, they'll be like, check this out, and people have live video of tons of crazy stuff. I recommend downloading the app. And Citizen, you owe me some money for that. Okay, Colin. Yep. So let's go ahead and get in there. I think we can try. We've got 2 different profiles here. I'm going to try the one that has the exact same handle that you gave me.
Okay.
But there's another one that has a similar handle.
Okay, let's see.
I'm going to give it a whirl and see.
I'm going to imagine this will be the one.
Oh, probably. Boom. Boom. Nothing. Not online. It kind of causes that problem. We'll see if sometimes it goes through still.
Let's see. Give it a shot. Ooh.
Nope. Yeah, you recognize that sound.
Yeah. That means no one there. Nobody home, as they say.
Can't do a Skype dance to that, can we?
No, it's hard to dance to that tune. I know I dance to the beat of my own drummer, but that's probably
Skype dance.
Yep.
Skype dance. Everybody out there, if you want to ask questions when we have the fighters come in and you want to ask them a question directly, feel free to drop a tip here on YouTube on the Hannibal TV.
Exactly.
And we will go ahead and do everything that we can to ask that question. Otherwise, we're just going to keep rolling with our own. But we do appreciate tips, so we'll do everything we can to squeeze in a good question from you for a tip.
Okay, his manager just asked him to add us, but much appreciated. We're trying to Skype call him right now, though, and he's not picking up. So we'll wait a minute, or if he could Skype call us, that would be great. Sorry to throw too much on your plate.
Too much.
All right, wait a second here. All right.
Oh, it looks like he's online now.
Oh,
let's see.
Okay, so I didn't even send this yet. I did not even send that yet.
Let's see. There he is. He accepted. Let's give him a call back.
Let's do it.
Answer. There we go. We got him.
Hey, Joe, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, gotcha. Okay, as long as you see yourself in the frame, that's good. You won't be able to see us, but we'll be doing a split screen and having you on yourself. It'll look great. We'll make sure to get it to you after. So let me give you...
Do you want video or just audio?
Video. We're definitely doing video. So yeah.
Okay.
I'm glad you asked that because it reminds me of a video, one of the early videos we did way back with Megan Anderson, who used to be in the UFC, the featherweight contender. And I thought we had told her it was video.
We did.
But being that we did, my producer said, but being that she couldn't see us, she was looking up at her ceiling most of the time during the whole interview. We talked to her for about an hour. And on top of that, she didn't do her hair. She was in pajamas. And the next week I saw her on Aerial looking all glamorous. And I'm like, thanks, Megan. And I'm like, but hey, I guess she didn't know it. It is what it is. But you look great as one could accept. And, as one would expect. And being that you're not a hot chick, I guess it doesn't matter anyway, does it?
All right, cool. Good to go. I'm good to go. So.
I appreciate you, brother. From the East Coast, we are talking about this guest coming on for the first time. I'd like to welcome UFC lightweight contender, Mr. Joe Selecki. We always do it formal. So, Mr. Joe Selecki, big fan of yours. Welcome to the MMA Power Hour, brother.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. Happy to be talking with you.
I appreciate it. Look forward to it. So another great fighter from the East Coast, man. Always like my East Coast fighters. I'm from Michigan, and it's funny, a lot of people who are watching from out of the country might not know it, but if you ask people from the West Coast or the South, they'll always say Michigan is East Coast, Detroit is East Coast. But if you ask people from the East Coast, they'll say, no, that's Midwest. What are you talking about? Michigan's not East Coast, right? But I think that if you look on the map of the Midwest states, we're the one that's getting the closest to coming to the East Coast, and I think we've got a lot of that East Coast mentality. I like to tell people, go visit Michigan. I live in California now, so I'm not there, but go visit Michigan because you got a blend of people that have that East Coast, keeping it real type of feeling, and people that respect you if you respect them, people that tell you how they really feel, and just like really good salt of the earth people. And then you also have the combination of the Midwest people being really nice. They say Michigan people are some of the nicest people in the country, and that's the way we were always taught. You know, you never know when your new neighbor could turn out to be the best friend you have.
Yeah. That's how, the South is kind of like that where I'm at now, North Carolina. I'm from the Northeast, outside of Philly, and we have that hustle and that grind and that blue-collar output. But the South is like that, too. We have all those same East Coast, core values, but it's a little slower pace and, a lot more homey down here. Everybody's very welcoming. So it's kind of sounds similar to what you're describing.
Absolutely. Sorry I labeled you New Jersey instead of Philly, so close to each other, right?
No, I'm from New Jersey, right over the bridge in South Jersey, yeah.
Okay.
Much closer to Philly than New York. So, yeah, I always say, people say there's no such thing as New Jersey. You're either New York or Philly.
I love it. I love it. A lot of good people there, a lot of great training. And speaking about training, I looked on 2 reference sites, and they mentioned Gym-O. And I bet, is that right, or it sounds like it is. Tell me about that. Who trains there? Anybody that we've heard of, or are you right now the biggest name at Gym-O?
Yeah, so right now I live in Wilmington, North Carolina. So that's where my home base is at Salty Dog Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with John Salter. And together we actually, when I first moved here in 2018, we were at a fight upstate South Carolina, and we saw a guy holding pads for another guy, a coach for a fighter on the card in a small local show. And we both looked at each other and were like, who is that? That guy knows what he's doing as a coach. And I had actually heard the name, and it was a man by the name of Jeff Jimmo. And he's somewhat in the Carolinas, like, we'll say almost like a legend, or like kind of mythical, because you really don't see him around a lot, but you hear all the good guys that have come out of this area a lot of them have trained with him. And so I recognized the name right away, and watching him conduct like a warm up and a walkthrough in the back of like game planning and all that, I was like, man, this guy knows his stuff. So we were talking to him that night a little bit, and we talked about, potentially wanted to do some cross training and things like that. And that was almost, that was almost 5 years ago now. So right after that, we actually had to evacuate Wilmington for a hurricane.
Oh, wow.
And it just so happened that Charlotte is the biggest city close by. So we ended up training there kind of by chance. And it was awesome because I had his contact info. And my other coach, John Salter, was getting ready to leave for a fight the following week, so he needed to stay training. And he went in the one night. I was staying at the hotel we evacuated to. He texted me, was like, man, that's one of the best practices I've ever been to. I went the next day. I concurred. And then ever since then, we've used Jeff as our head MMA coach. So it's about 3.5 hours from where we live. But out of camp, we go, maybe every 2 or 3 weeks or once a month for a couple days. And then in camp, I go every single week for just about half the week, or just under half the week. Thursday, all of Friday, and then we come back to Friday training. So right there now, you have, he hasn't fought in a while, but Scott Holtzman, who's in the UFC, has been training with Jeff for his whole career.
Nice.
At the MMA lab, but when he was home would work with Jeff, Jeff's always cornered him. Brian Barberena, who fights July 2nd against Ryan Lawler. Myself, John Salter, who fought for the Bellator middleweight title this past summer. You have Chris Honeycutt, who fights in ACA. Chris Weidman currently trains there right now. And then a bunch of guys on the regional scene who I really believe you'll be seeing, come up here soon. But he's had other guys in the UFC and Bellator as well in the past who now have gone on retirement. Ricky Rainey. There's a couple other guys there that have fought on a lot of bigger shows as well. Justine Kish, who was in the UFC, and now she fights for Bellator. I think she moved to Vegas whenever she hurt her knee to rehab, but she used to train full-time at Jeff's as well. So, yeah, he's just one of those guys. So his name is Jimmo, Jimmo. That's his last name. So the Gym-O is kind of a play on words there.
I love that.
Great camp, and that's where we go for all of our MMA training. And when we're not there, Jeff runs most of my camp, almost like gives me the plan for the week while I'm back home training at Salty Dog, and I train another gym in Myrtle Beach, which is 90 minutes away from here, called Fitness Edge MMA. And he kind of oversees all of that, and we're constantly going back and forth and what I need to do, and he pulls all the strings. He's a great head coach.
Sounds good. The last name Jimmo, I remember the late Canadian UFC fighter Ryan Jimmo. Any relation to Jeff? No.
Yes. A lot of people have said that, and I forgot about that. He had like the fastest knockout for a long time. No, he was a great fighter though, but no relation, but yeah, same spelling.
Yeah, I remember he used to do the robot dance amazingly. after he would win, right? And he was a champion over at their MFC in Canada. I remember what a tragedy how he died. He got into some sort of altercation with a guy out in the street over something, and the scumbag just ran him over and killed him. It's I mean, it's such a tragic thing, and it's like, I mean, the world is a scary place, and it's ironic because you guys as fighters, can beat 99.9% of guys in the world. I mean, you could take a guy who's a lightweight like yourself walking around at 175, you could beat up most men that are like 6'5" and 250, but you don't know what someone's going to do out on the street. And so even you guys probably have to be a little concerned about and probably not desiring to get in altercations with someone that might be a maniac, huh?
Absolutely. And the thing is I trained at jiu-jitsu under a team in the Northeast, and the head of that team is a guy by the name of Phil Meglaris, and he's really big in self-defense. Studied at the Gracie Academy in the very early days when, like, Ilya Gracie was teaching there. And the one thing I always remember him saying on that kind of stuff was, a street fight never ends, So for years, you have to look over your shoulder. But for me, there's very, very few reasons I've never been in a real fight in my life, that I wasn't paid for, unless it was an amateur fight. But I can't imagine a scenario other than, my family being threatened life or death situation where it would be worth it, especially in today's world. Like you said, it's a crazy place. So, people have to be careful, and especially when it's your career, they'll throw the book at you. God forbid you hurt somebody terribly or something like that. So that's what I always tell these young guys coming through. Like, it is not worth it. Even if you're working, other young fighters work security at bars and stuff. It's like a very common side job. You tell them, like, the least amount you need to do to, get somebody out of there that's acting up, and do it as politely as you can, because you never know what they're thinking and what they're planning to retaliate with.
Exactly, and I like to put it out there. I've never had any respect for people that are violent criminals out on the street, and I think that a lot of people, and sometimes our movie industry, tends to glamorize violence on the street. And I like to put it out there. I'm not challenging anyone. I'm not trying to insult anyone, but I like to put it out there that the guys that are committing violence on people in the street with weapons, or surprise attacking someone, these aren't like the guys like Joe here in the UFC who train their ass off, who are elite athletes, who go through the pain, who are real fighters. To me, these other guys are cowards. So they're not going to try to test you, giving you a fair chance in a fight, whether it's a UFC fighter or anyone. These guys out in the street, hitting someone, running over someone with your car, what does that prove? How tough you are. It's unfortunate, but just people know that don't get in confrontations out in the streets, because if you think that it's a chance for you to show that you've trained and that you're tough, it doesn't matter when you're dealing with someone that's pretty much a cowardly scumbag, and you don't know what they're going to do. I'm sure you'd probably agree with that, right, Joe?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
No, especially if this is your career path. You just got to This is what you do for a living, not in any other capacity. Absolutely. So getting on to the UFC, man, you've had a really good run in the UFC. You're 4-1, and the one loss was a split decision in the fight with Jared Gordon. So let me ask you this, because you seem to be open to talking about stuff, and an East Coaster, you understand when someone's being a straight shooter. So I'm not trying to be controversial here, but what's your thought about people who feel that of the last two fights, you won the one before the last, but maybe not this last one? What's your feeling? Do you feel that there's any possibility that that could be right? Do you feel that you won them both clearly? Do you think that both of them could be a draw? What's your thought about both your last two fights? I mean, with the subjectivity of judging, anything could be anything, I guess. Yeah. But I definitely don't feel like the last one before this past weekend against Jared Gordon was any kind of robbery or anything like that. I think you probably could have flipped a coin. Yep. But I definitely didn't watch that back. Obviously, you always wish it goes to you with, pay and all of those things and career implications. But no, I think that was a super close fight. I would say on this past Saturday, I would say, worst case scenario possible, anybody that knows anything about the sport, so the comment you lost wouldn't make any sense because worst case scenario, I think maybe a draw,
Yep.
and that would be in two different ways. So if you say, I guess the only way it wouldn't would be if round 2 isn't a 10-8 without the point deduction, or there's no point deduction, and you say it's just 10-9, 10-9 him first round, 10-9 me second round, and then you go to the third round, which I haven't watched it enough in detail to really comment on that. I watched more of the X's and O's of myself in the third round to see like what I could have done better. Mm-hmm. But I have had some people go back and watch it without the emotion. They're like, oh, I definitely could see how you got that. But the ultimate thing I would say is I really, it's not their problem. It's not my problem. You know what I mean? I think I fought an awesome fight on Saturday, which I was really proud about. And I was glad I got the decision. The one thing I would say about that second round, aside from scoring, is it was 4.5 minutes of back control. So you go, okay, it's probably a 10-8 round. But if it's not, and I've never said this in any situation before, because everybody I've had their back has at some point grabbed my glove, Right. And that's pretty natural in the sport. A lot of times they're trying to grab hands, or, they sneak one good one in. And I do understand that because they're in survival mode. And I've never gone back and said I would have finished them if they didn't do that. I'm going to stand my ground and say, so to my understanding, the point takeaway was not for the toes in the fence. He was warning him for that too, but he came in twice and told him about the glove, which has a much bigger outcome of the fight.
Yeah.
So a couple times, it's hard to see. I didn't turn, but I was showing him, and I said my glove, and then the second time I actually looked over and said it, and that's when he came in and took a point. But I do believe I would have finished him with that because I had the arm under the neck 3 times, So I really don't even think we're having that conversation without that foul. I don't think the toes in the cage is a big deal. If you're breaking rules and, and you're warned multiple times, then, yeah, we got to take a point, I guess. But I do believe, and I've never said anything like that before, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Mm-hmm. But I know my choke, and I know where he was at struggling-wise. I could feel the breathing and the noise-making and all that. And I really do think he was pretty cooked in that spot. So I do think I would have got a finish if that didn't play a factor. That's why I really have no convictions about the scoring or any of that nonsense. I'm like, as long as I got my win bonus, I really didn't care because I'm like, in my mind, that was over in the second.
Absolutely. So you were confident when you were waiting for the judge's verdict that it was going to go your way?
I'm never confident.
Right.
The Miller fight, where it was clearly 2 rounds to 1 me in the Miller fight, and even in the first, it could have went my way. I still look back in my corner and was like, huh? Because it's all a blur when you're out there. It's so hard to tell. But I kind of applied logic after the fight. I'm never confident, and with the incompetence of judging in MMA, it's possible to say. But I do feel like they got this one right. But I'm biased. It's involving me, so I really can't give you an unbiased answer, I guess.
Well stated, though. That was a well stated answer, and I definitely appreciate it. It's interesting. I was talking to my producer. My producer, Dr. Adam Roorda, is a big MMA enthusiast like myself. We're both lifelong martial artists. He wrestled in junior high school in Iowa with a bunch of killers, and I think a little bit in high school. And was a black belt in Taekwondo. And I didn't wrestle, but I trained Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, Kempo, Karate, Hapkido. So we're both long-time real combat sports guys. And I was telling him that it seems to me like the judging is not getting much better over the years, but maybe it's not getting worse. He responded by saying he feels like it's kind of getting better. I'd be curious to hear your thought from the 3 choices. Getting worse, not getting much better at all, pretty much the same as it was 10, 20 years ago, or getting a little bit better or a lot better?
I know the criteria changes all the time, and the criteria seems to be getting more detailed, which is great.
Yeah.
I think the assumption was going to be that with time, we'd see more active fighters becoming retired fighters and then getting into those departments. And the only ones I really see those fighters getting into is reffing, not really judging. So it is hard to say, but I just think as long as there's 3 judges like that, there's always going to be, go to any workplace in any field, there's incompetence in some area. There's a hole in every place you go. And I think it's just unfortunately that in MMA, it's always going to show itself. And if it's one fight out of the 11 or 12 fights that night, it does stand out. And that's a pretty good percentage of saying, well, the other 11 out of 12 were great. That's a high percentage of success. But when you're playing with people's futures and careers in a sport where, or at least in an organization where, 2-3 losses, you might be looking for a new career. It's never having any
margin for error, right? Yeah.
Have any room for error, So it's so hard to say. I like to think it's getting better, and fans are getting more knowledgeable. And you would think with fans getting more knowledgeable, everybody's getting more knowledgeable. But I don't know that it's the case. I think it's always going to be a problem, no matter how good the judging is, because you're dealing with human beings, their opinion on something, and their attention span. And that's all tough. It's going to be hard for somebody to not go by what the crowd's saying, or to not hear what the coach in the corner is saying. If a coach is going, "Oh, you're tagging him every time," he doesn't like that. It's impossible for somebody's brain to not take that in and put it into account in some way, shape, or form. So I think the problem is just we're being judged by humans. The only way would probably be to put them off in like a secluded area somewhere where they're not talking to each other,
right,
or hearing the commentary or anything. And I don't know that that's realistic either. So I really don't have a solution, but I like to think it's getting a little better, as people get more educated.
Yeah, I think I can see it, and that's you're on the side of Dr. Adam Roorda there. I can be somewhat critical and almost wanting to see a bigger improvement before I feel it's getting somewhat better. But I see your point, and I think you're right. I think a lot in the early days it was all boxing judges. I mean, it's funny, once in a while, they'll always announce the name of the judges. Once in a while, I will hear a name of a judge that I remember judging boxing 35 years ago. Yeah. And I'll think to myself, well, he wasn't 10 years old 35 years old. He wasn't 20 years old probably 35 years old. He was probably 30 or 40, 30. And so you do have some of these guys that are 70 and 80 years old that are judging. Now, it doesn't mean you can't understand what you're looking at, but sometimes, I wonder a little bit. But, one of the things that's a problem, I think, is I think these guys are getting maybe $500 or $600 or something from what I used to hear. Now, maybe it's raised a little bit, but apparently it's just really not enough money, to mean anything. And almost all these guys and girls are either retired or they have a second job or something. And part of me wonders if they were to say, look, we'll give you $2,500, every time you show up, or $3,500. But then I think you might get some people who want to do that because of the money, which might not be good either. What do you think?
Yeah, and I think ultimately the problem is in this sport is, as much as it goes back to, if you watch The Ultimate Fighter with Matt Serra arguing with Mark Lehman,
right?
He said, you can't be an expert by watching something, and you can only get in this sport. I truly believe you can only get so far. Like you said, you're the expert swimmer that never got in the pool, and unfortunately in this sport, there's so many intangibles that I just think somebody, even if it'd be the perfect gig for like a super fan, who has all the knowledge, but they still have never gone through the weight cut or the fight or the this or the that. So they might be seeing things. They've never been rocked in a fight and had to play it off. So, until you've been in all those scenarios, it's really hard to understand, I think, just the little details of what's going on. So I think that's one issue. It's a hard thing to understand. So we have to give them some slack. But the other thing, like you said, with the it's not great pay for them, is sometimes they're not coming in and maybe treating it with the reverence it deserves, because, this is people's lives. People are going home with half their paychecks. Some people on the card are going home without a job.
Yeah.
And, or without their health, So we do have to treat it with that supreme reverence, the same way the coaches and the athletes that are involved are treating it with. So maybe that is the solution, is upping the incentive for them to, want to do a good job and pay attention. It's a long day, it's 4 hours of watching fights. Even if you like fights, it's a lot. When I get tickets to a fight, I don't really show up to the prelims, and I love fighting, So I understand kind of both sides of the argument and the coin, and I don't know if there's a quick fix, but I do think it's getting better with time, like you said.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would love to see ex-fighters in there and ex-UFC fighters. I think it'd be amazing. I mean, I think that they're not going to do it for $500 or probably even $1,000, but if you could make it $2,000 or $3,000 or $5,000, I mean, it'd be great. We could see, some of the commentators or who knows, some of the guys that were, really successful 5 and 10 years ago, and say the referee is so-and-so, and people go, oh man, that dude won the fight of the night 3 times in 2016 and 2017. I think that'd be amazing. I'd love to see that, but I think they're not going to do it for nothing. Especially when they know the UFC has money there, it's got to be like, you got to have a fair chunk of change, but we'll see what happens. But anyway, you're in the UFC lightweight division, which is a very exciting division. Like I said, with your split decision loss, were it not for that, you'd be a perfect 5 for 5. And I think a lot of people that saw that Gordon fight just like you said, it could have been a coin flip. So I hope UFC management takes notice of that. I would think that this fight would put you into the top 20, or were you there before this fight? Do you know?
I'm not too sure. I think on like Tapology and stuff, I was like hovering right around 30, maybe 32, so somewhere in that nature. But I'm in no rush as long as I keep progressing, So we'll see what comes up. But I've got nothing. I've got no expectations. This is a really stacked division, so you can go 7, 8, 9, 10 wins and just be getting in the top 15 or just be getting those big name fights. So
yep.
It's so hard to tell what's on the horizon, but I do think my stock is going up from another win, and it seems like the feedback's been good, so I can definitely appreciate that for sure.
Absolutely. And at 28 years old, man, you're in a great position, man. I wish I was 28 again. I'm a lot older than that, but man, in all honesty, you're like just getting into your prime, I feel, for a male athlete in combat sports in the lightweight division, like just starting your prime. And, to already have how many fights do you have? 15 fights?
15 and 5 amateur fights. Yes.
Yeah, it's perfect, man. You've got like just the right amount of seasoning and experience, and going into this fight, it's funny because we always try to put out some picks and our thoughts and like that. And I remember throwing your name out there. I had watched all your fights, and I said, man, something about this guy Joe Selecki. I get that feeling like this guy is a special fighter. Like a lot of times, I think of you in like a similar light as Sean Brady. You probably know him over from Philly. And I'm like, man, these are the East Coast guys that are just tough. And especially when you mention the guys you're training with there, John Salter, Brian Barberina, some of the other guys, just really killers. And I remember a lot of the odds makers are going, yeah, Joe's good, but this other guy's really good, and maybe Joe's going to have a hard time with this guy because this other guy's really good. And I said, I'm not saying the fight's going to be a walkover, but I just said I believe in my East Coast guy, Joe Selecki, because I think he's got talent, he's got drive, he's a smart fighter, he knows how to finish people, and I was happy that you did back that up in your performance, and I want to give you credit, man. You impressed me. I like your grappling, and I just looked at the punch stats. You had double the punches landed, double the strikes landed on this fight, and that's also something that I don't know if some of the people who are feeling not sure that it was maybe 50-50, how is it that you have all this control time and you land double the strikes? And people are going to say, oh, I don't know, man, Joe maybe got lucky on that decision. That doesn't make sense to me. But sometimes people aren't watching for that either. But speaking of which, and I know we only have about 6-7 more minutes with you. But I have noticed that different judges, it seems like, prefer different things. Like you could get 3 judges that don't have any fondness for grappling. Some of them might not even have much respect for grappling. They never grappled. They don't really get it. And they're gonna give someone like nothing for control time. They're gonna give someone nothing for takedowns. And it really doesn't matter what that fighter does. These judges are gonna say, no, he lost. Then on the flip side of it, sometimes you have judges that really love the grappling, that really appreciate it and don't really care about some pity-pat punches and someone throwing a lot of jabs and whatever, and will do the opposite. But to me, the criteria can be a little bit confusing. I think both are worth something, but do you find that judges are leaning one way or the other as far as what they're looking at there, or do you feel it's pretty balanced?
Yeah, I think that, again, this is it's human nature, unless we're going to assign points for certain techniques, which would almost be impossible, I think. Mm-hmm. There's not going to be a cut and dry scoreboard like other sports, Yeah. But this isn't other sports, and that's what I think people need to understand more than anything is like this isn't even really a sport. It is, and it's become a sport. We have uniforms and good pay, and we're on TV and all that. But ultimately, this is a martial art. This is a fight.
Yes.
And here's the thing is, and I'm not a street fight guy. We already kind of covered that, but when you walk away from a schoolyard fight, his buddies are saying he won his. There's never really a clear-cut winner either, unless there's a finish. Right. So I think it's just kind of like this thing that we're going to be trapped until the end of time. Is this guy values that more? If you went out in a street fight and I leg kicked somebody, we're in 5th grade or whatever, half the people are going to go, wow, I wouldn't mess with him. He can kick hard. Right. The other half will go, he's a sissy. He threw kicks. It was always supposed to be. I think it's that. I really do. It's just the right. So I think it's unless you can't take the human nature out of someone, so everyone's always going to prefer something. But I think they're doing a better job. So yeah, it's just going to be what they're looking for. But ultimately, it is crazy to say that you got to get the finishes to guarantee it, but we got to be trying for the finish. And if we're trying, then that should put us on the right path.
Absolutely.
It's obviously a close grind, but I was trying to finish them from start to finish, and maybe for me, that's what the difference was on the scorecards. Like you said, double the strike count or whatever. Maybe that's what it was, because I was trying to get it done. So
yeah, without a doubt. Sorry to interrupt you.
If you're doing all three, like I said, like I'm looking for a knockdown, I'm looking for ground control, but then I noticed that in the last fight with Gordon, that the volume was missing a little bit. So I was like, well, the missing piece to win over any style of judging would be volume. So let me go after him with a little more volume too. So just trying to tick all the boxes that they may have,
Absolutely. Give me a quick answer on this. Did it piss you off when he was fouling? I mean, does this make you mad? Are you wondering, like, WTF, is this going on here? Do you almost feel like yelling at this guy or not really? Or you seem to be pretty even keel as far as your temperament, but what's your thought on that real quick?
Yeah, I was okay. In the past, it might have been something that got me out of sorts. But like we talked about having, 20 fights now, it was something that I'm expecting, because I take the back a lot, and I've never gone against anybody that hasn't grabbed my glove at least once.
Yeah.
But on top of that, it was just one of those things in this fight I really worked on in this entire camp, was just staying in the present, staying present-minded, sober-minded. That's really what the entire thing was I knew this was going to be a grind of a fight. I wasn't necessarily preparing for, cheating and fouls, but that also fell into that umbrella. Was I need to take this fight frame by frame, and in all my prayers leading up to the fight and quiet time, it was all just praying for the ability to stay in the moment and to not worry about things beyond my control. And, I can't control him grabbing my glove. I can control what I do in response. So yeah, it was just and ultimately I was in a good spot. I was on his back. I am winning. So while I'd like to get a finish, I did sign up for 15 minutes. So if I don't finish him, well, I'm just fighting for the amount of time I had to fight every Friday at sparring and every Monday at sparring anyway. Like in sparring, even if I choke somebody, I still got to finish 15 minutes. So just kind of that mentality of we're not here for an early night. We'd like it to be, but I'm okay with fighting 15 minutes. So if we got to start the next round, I'll try to do the same thing again,
I like that. Good attitude, absolutely. So in the last 2 minutes we have you, give me some really quick picks here, if you wouldn't mind, on the top three fights on Saturday's card. Let's start with the co-main, the rematch, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Weili Zhang. Before you answer, I was in attendance in press row, cage side for that fight. Joanna's head swole to 3 times the normal size. One of the toughest women on the face of the earth, and fighters, just tough. I felt she won that fight. Not only that, but I also felt you're going to keep on fighting when your head has got to turn into a huge hematoma. Damn, give the girl a frickin' the championship for sacrificing her body like that and her head. But nevertheless, in this fight, what do you think, real quick? Jędrzejczyk, Zhang, number 2.
It's hard to say with the time off for Joanna, but I am going to pick her. I think time off probably started her well. I feel like obviously world champion, so her work ethic is probably second to none. She's probably been developing whatever she saw could be worked on in that fight. And I do think Zhang Weili is a little bit of a bully of a fighter.
Yeah.
She does well receiving too, but I do think coming off a couple tough fights that she may decline just a little bit, whereas I don't see Joanna getting discouraged from a loss like that. So with those X factors, I would pick Joanna. I'm not confident in that pick because they're both so tough, but I do think there's a good chance Joanna can come out and really pull off a great performance here.
I agree. And she's a slight dog now, anywhere from -135, -145. I like her a lot. Other one, real quick, Valentina Shevchenko. Talia Santos is tough as hell, but if you can give me 30 seconds or less, your thoughts in that fight.
Yeah, I'm going to pick Shevchenko. It's so hard to pick against. Aside from going up weight class, it's so dominant, and I think this could probably be more of that.
Yeah, I think it could be. I love Valentina. I think I'd love to see a great fight, though. I think this girl is going to give her a pretty tough one, at least for a while, but you never know. And then the main event, Glover Teixeira and Yuri Prokaska. What do you think?
I'm probably a little biased because I love Glover, and I've always been a fan of his. So I'm probably picking my heart a little bit, but I do think with how wild Yuri is, that leaves openings for Glover to get a hold of him. And if he gets a hold of you, we've seen it with guys bigger, stronger, champions, he can strangle anybody or TKO. I think with how reckless Yuri is, there's a good chance he gets a hold of him, puts him down. Because Glover's got power too, so even if they want to stand and trade, there's a good chance Glover tags him. So I'm taking Glover.
I agree. I think so. I love seeing the fighters over 40 win like that. And Glover is a guy who's really paid his dues. I picked him over Jan, and I will pick him over Yuri as well. Well, man, Joe Selecki, I really appreciate you jumping on. Let us know how people can support you on social media, or really quick, if you have any product or website or anything, let us know.
Yeah, so just on social media, at Joe Selecki, my name, on Instagram, Twitter, Joe Selecki MMA on Facebook. And then I actually started a grappling promotion recently called All In Grappling. That's on Instagram and Facebook. If everyone wants to check that out, we're going to have some events here in the Carolinas starting in August. So I'll be announcing that first date in the next week or so. So super fights and competition with regular competitors. So they can check me out there as well.
Sounds great, man. Well, you're a smart guy. You're a good East Coast dude, and I really appreciate you taking the time to come on and talk to us, man. We'll be cheering for you. Love to talk to you again somewhere down the line.
Oh, yeah. Anytime, man. Just get a hold of me. I'd be happy to come on. Thanks so much for having me.
You're very welcome. Have a great night.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks. And that was Joe Selecki, really cool East Coast dude. Like this guy a lot, been cheering for him and watching him for a while. And absolutely, like, really even keel, smart, chill guy. And at 28 years old, he's got the maturity of someone like 10 years older than him. And I think that will suit him well, don't you? So it will not just suit him well, but it will serve him well.
Yeah, it'll serve him well, and he's going to do quite well here. I'm 100% sure of it.
Yeah.
Colin, actually, so we're going to hop right into our next guest here in just a moment. Before we do, I do want to point out that one of our good friends of the show wanted to just drop the line in a note that the Athletic Commission's actually determined the pay and charge the promotion accordingly.
Absolutely. And also, I want to apologize. There was a good question that a personal friend of mine had, and he's one of the executives over at CFFC. I forgot to ask Joe Selecki about the matchup he had with beating Donald Cowboy Cerrone in grappling. Oh, I'm so sorry, Jason. I would have loved to have talked to him about that. I don't know. Oh, man. I'm going to even tell him on the air. So sorry. I forgot. But anyway, yeah. Well, sometimes my mind is so focused.
Sometimes it happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's go into our next guest here.
Let's do it.
Let's give him a ring a ding dong.
Ring a ding, man. 3 cheers for the king.
Don't think he's online.
Really?
No.
Let me see. Unless it's a different Skype. Let me see.
No, it's gonna be the same one. It's the one we've always used.
Trying to Skype call you now, brother. As soon as you're available, let me know. Okay, yeah, he'll probably jump on in a second. But yeah, man, kicking myself on that. But, yeah, he did have a good win, Joe Selecki over. And Cowboy is a good black belt. Cowboy has submitted a bunch of people. I know in the UFC in his later years, he got into the striking a lot more than the grappling, and but he, I think, is a black belt, I'm pretty sure, and I think he has been one for a while. He was submitting a lot of people when he was younger in the early days of the UFC. I remember a former UFC champion, and this is not anything negative, but I'll leave it person nameless, but they were a really good grappler, submitting a lot of people early in their career. And then as they got into like their mid-30s, they mentioned that they're going to start really focusing on the striking now, because their body is just kind of done with the punishment of the constant grappling training. And it makes sense. The grappling training is really arduous on your body, if that's hopefully a word that
mostly on your joints.
It is,
and that's where it gets to be interesting. But
especially the older you get. In all honesty, the older you get, the longer it takes to heal, and the more you start finding your shoulders are out of whack, your neck's out of whack.
It depends on your training, man. If you train smart and you roll with people that are smart, you're not going to get out of whack. It's actually going to help you out, strengthen your joints, and keep you lubed up in the way that you need to be. So I don't know, man. I think it just depends on your how you roll and your training partners and your coaches.
I mean, sorry to interrupt your flow on that, Doc. I mean, I think we're on the same page generally there, but I will tell you this, because I know that you did a lot of rolling in wrestling early on when you were young, and I'm sure you have the concept of doing it when you're older, but being someone
Still
that
do it occasionally, yeah.
okay, but being someone that did it a lot as I was really older, over 40, which you haven't got to yet, it's unless you're just being so gentle with yourself, or unless you're just going half speed, and you can do that. If you're smart enough in your 40s to go half speed, to not go with guys
It's not
much
necessarily
heavier
about
than
going
you.
half speed. It's about it just being, you don't cut corners, and
It's
your
hard.
training
though.
partners don't cut corners. If you're doing it and you're doing it right,
Yeah.
you can do it for
I mean,
quite a while.
you can, and it will make your body stronger. It will. I agree, and I love it. But
I'm saying this with 100% certainty, seeing a lot of jiu-jitsu guys that are still doing it in their 50s, 60s. But
Yeah.
I am also saying this for wrestlers too.
Yep.
And watching some of the best wrestlers be guys that are all coaches right now, and literally they're out there with their athletes. Some of the best coaches are the most active out there, pushing their guys to be as good as them. And that's I just can't agree with the sentiment or statement that you get older and you should stop grappling.
And you notice I never said that. I never said that.
Right.
And I was illustrating a point that a UFC fighter from years ago had mentioned. But, to kind of wrap it up, because I know we want to get to our next guest here. If you're at an age where your body's had a lot of wear and tear, some people hit that point in their mid-30s. Almost everyone hits that point in their earlier mid-40s. But if you're at that point where you've had a lot of wear and tear, and you've had and gone through a lot of injuries, and you're in your late 30s, 40s, even 50s, and you're gonna train with guys in their 20s who are 40 pounds heavier than you or 80 pounds heavier than you, and you're not gonna ask them to keep it half speed, it's gonna be a lot of punishment on your body, and you just can't do that long. However,
I mean, if you're ignoring diet and you're ignoring doing it right and well, of course, and that's the thing. You've got to pay attention to absolutely every aspect, and that goes for everybody, whether you're pro or not.
Yeah,
I think pros tend to. I mean, the one thing that they do have to face is when you grappled if you're out there doing professional grappling still post 40, you're more likely to get injured 100% when that happens. And if you get injured, that's where it kind of starts getting screwy.
Right, the downhill slide. Yeah, and I see your point, because you're right. If you are like an amazingly lucky person and just a physical specimen with just amazing genetics, and you're 45 and you've never had much of an injury at all, and you've been grappling for years, God bless you. You're one of those guys that probably can keep going till your mid-50s or 60s.
I mean,
there are
these machines out there. That's what I call them.
Yeah.
They
guys
exist.
like that. The guys like that exist.
They put themselves there, though, Colin. They train and they
from
keep
the hard.
the way they do it is it's a technique and it's a lifestyle.
Yeah, it is.
It really is. It's about training smart,
eating
smart, working out smart. They don't push themselves to failure all the time anymore. They did that enough when they were younger.
Right. They're not usually probably training with guys a lot heavier than them.
No.
And they're not inviting guys in their mid-20s to go balls to the wall, batshit crazy, train with them.
No.
Yeah.
And there's a reality when it comes to working out with age. To a certain extent, it's about going to failure all the time, right? To a certain age, and then after a while, you stop doing that, and you refine technique, and it's more about and
flowing,
not just flowing, but muscle memory and just keeping it in place.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's really what it's about. So you can minimize the risk, and then you can go in there and still be a beast. And that's what they're doing.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. It is a great
guys
thing.
That are doing that.
It is a great thing, but just as time goes by, it can wear on you for everyone. But anyway,
it wears on everybody, no matter what age does it.
That is true.
There's no way around it. That we're working on it with stem cell treatments and something we're doing. He's still not online.
He isn't.
No,
that's so weird. Trying to, maybe it's time that I actually do a phone call. Let's see.
See if he's there.
Let's see hey, yeah,
Chris.
Yeah,
Chris.
Let me try. Let's see it here with the old.
We want you on. You're one of our favorite guests.
Absolutely. The old live phone call. There we go. This is always fun.
This is always fun.
They should do this on the Tonight Show. They should have Jimmy Fallon actually.
Hey, yo, where are you guys?
Hey, Chris. Hey, sorry to bother you, brother, but we were trying to get you on Skype if you're ready. No problem, brother. Totally understood. You want me to we'll just chill for a couple minutes and then we'll try you, or if you want, you could hit us. You'll see we try to call. our username. I won't say it on the air. Sounds good, brother. Appreciate you. All right, take care. Bye-bye. All right.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, because he trained so hard and he's working with BKFC.
Oh, wait. Sometimes we give guests a hard time when they're late or can't make it.
Right.
This was the last second, and
he's coming through, and not only that, never criticized. We don't like.
He's one of my favorite people.
Yeah, he's awesome, and not only that, but he's got so much going. It's like one of the things that I'm really humbled about and grateful for is some of the guests that we've had on several times. And like I said, it makes me even more fond of them because they're helping our show. When someone who is a person of some prominence is willing to, say, yes, not a problem, Colin, you want me? Let's make it happen. Mm-hmm. It's I'm not just flattered, touched. I'm humbled by that, because I know that these guys and girls are really busy and have a lot of opportunities and a lot of offers and a lot of other things they could do at night with a half hour of their time, including sleeping, 100%. Eating. Yeah, so basically for the guests of ours that come on several times, just an enormous, huge respect.
Oh, the ones that come on here numerous times, I'm going to tell you this right now with 100% certainty. Colin and I can sit here and pick out who's going to be a champion, mostly by whether they show up on time.
Yep.
If they're consistent, if they follow their word. There is something about discipline, and that goes back to what we were just talking about, Colin. Mm-hmm. And that discipline, it carries over in age for a lot of people. Some people, unfortunately, don't have the genetics to go older, but to overgeneralize and say, somebody that's older, not grappling. I mean, if you're doing it and you're a professional athlete, you're doing it right and doing it well. I mean, you can go into old age doing it.
Oh yeah, Elio Gracie was rolling until he was 91 or 2, I think.
That's what I'm saying. It's just you have to be smart about it and know where you're at and focus more on technique and less on the fast twitch responses and going that way. But
without a doubt. Yeah. So Chris is working out. He was doing something that stopped him from jumping in, but
that's all right.
I think any minute you want to give him a try once more.
Oh, he's on now, and just so everybody knows, I'm smoking a vape instead of cigarettes now. I'm trying to get healthy myself.
There you go, brother.
All right. Go and get him in with the Skype dance. It'll come. It's going to come. He's online. Skype dance. Come on. Come on, ring through.
Where's that ding, ding, ding? Ding, the Jens Pulver Skype dance. Big respect to you, Jens. I remember he saw that, and he goes, I love that. He was going something like this.
I wonder what's going on, because it's showing he's online.
He said he's going to try to make it happen.
Well, of course he is.
Yeah. If you want to just Skype call us, brother, that would be great.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
And I'll type in the name there. All right, here.
Oh, Colin.
Yes, Colin is calling. That's funny. Once in a while, if I make a new friend or a new business associate, I'll call up, and they'll say, is this Colin? Yeah, you're the first person to ever say that,
Well, from now on, I'm going to be like, Colin.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, exactly.
You say hello, I say, Colin.
Yeah, I would be like, yes, thank you, doctor. That would be just fabulous. Anyway, but yeah, we're looking forward to have, I'd like to say,
hey, everybody out there, I'm going to take this moment real quick. We probably have about 30, 40 seconds. Go ahead and hit up the Hannibal TV or Great North Wrestling on YouTube if you're over on Facebook right now. If you're on Great North Wrestling / the Hannibal TV, make sure to head on over to the MMA Power Hour. Our website is currently down, but you can hit up our social media and definitely hit up our group, MMA Power Hour, because we're starting to get things going there. You can post some of your own.
I'm glad you just said that. Yes, continue.
Post some of your own news there. We really love that community. Get involved, and if anybody wants any insights into becoming credentialed media members, Colin and I can help you out with that. We love helping people out. It's about community first and foremost.
Absolutely, community is the most important. And
likes, comments, shares.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Please.
Without a doubt, we look forward to working with people and helping people and just being a big part of this great MMA media community. All right, so hopefully
I'll try him again.
Want to try him again? I bet you this time we get him. Third time is a charm.
Well, it doesn't seem to want to go through, so I don't know what's going on. And it may be my Skype, because it's done that a few times. It's been a while since it started glitching like that, where I had
yeah.
Because it's showing he's online. It should work. Let me just open it up. See if it works now. Let me close it down all the way, actually.
Oh, he's just saying, can I call him on Skype? But we are. Gotcha. We've been trying, and then it doesn't end up going anywhere. But I can try again right now if you'd like. Yep. Here we go.
Nope. Bam.
Okay.
Wow. He's gonna need to call us, Colin.
Yeah, I think for some reason it must be a different Skype that you have, because the one we're calling, it shows that no one's online.
It's not a different Skype. It's not different. It's showing he's online, Colin. So
it is.
It's just it won't allow me to call through for some reason.
Okay. All right.
And
we're trying again,
out
and it
all
shows
the way.
that you're online, but it's
let me
not
do
letting
this.
the call come through. We're gonna try once more though here.
I gotta close out all the way.
Okay.
Let it log back in. There we go. Should work now. Let's try it.
Okay.
Nope.
Not gonna work, is it?
No, he's gonna need to call us.
Gotcha. For some reason, it's not letting our call go through. So if you could call us
On Skype.
on Skype, that would work.
Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, it's a setting.
All right.
We had the other one and it worked. Showing right now that he's unavailable when I call him for some reason.
It's saying when we call, you're unavailable. Something in your settings, I think. But if you call us, it will go through for sure.
Yep.
All right. Part of the fun of everything here. And let's see. Putting the address where the...
I just sent him a message. He should be able to see that right now and just call us.
Okay.
Well, ladies and gents, boys and girls, Jerry Lee, it's
Our
nice seeing
producer
you
Adam
here.
just sent you a message. So if you can click on that, it should let you call us. Okay, so he's about to say something. Hopefully he's about to call us. It will be good. Yeah, man, it's the Skype is the better quality, that's for sure, and I know you know that, and a lot of people use it, but I think maybe because of this type of thing is the reason why so many people are using Zoom and other things. It's Chris.
Not why.
Yeah, Chris is telling us it won't call for some reason.
That is so weird that that is happening right now.
Yeah.
That is so weird. And let me try somebody else real quick.
Okay.
That really shouldn't.
Gotcha. All right, we're gonna keep.
I'm just
trying
gonna
and see
randomly
what we
try
can do
somebody
here.
and see if it rings.
Okay. Anyway, guys, sorry for looking down, showing the top of my head here. Although I do have a good haircut that I just got yesterday.
Yeah, that's.
And I thought we had something there for a second, but anyway, live TV, folks, live, man, oh man, we are live. One of the things that Bruce Buffer likes to say, we are live, and it's time.
And it's time.
Yep, I know that his brother has it copywritten, the Let's Get Ready to Rumble, Michael Buffer. Does that make sense to you, Adam, that Michael Buffer, because he started saying, let's get ready to rumble before fights, that he was able to then copyright that so that nobody else in a boxing auditorium event can say that without paying him? To me, that seems kind of surprising. But apparently it's true. He arranged it that nobody but him is allowed to say, let's get ready to rumble at a live boxing event. Does that surprise you? Or
No, not really. Just trademark it. It's a way to make money and make sure that it gets done. He's the only one that gets hired.
But now his brother can't copyright It's Time or We're Live, I don't think. Those are too general, or are they?
I don't know.
Interesting
You
question.
might be able to get away with it.
Yeah, because, if so, then I'm sorry, Bruce, that I've been saying It's Time, We're Alive. I have a feeling Bruce Buffer's not going to worry about that, especially since we're not at an MMA event, live fighting event. Okay, so it's not going to let us call Chris, and he's saying, what is he texted you back something, right?
I just asked if I was getting the message, and I said yes. And I tried calling him.
Okay. What is he saying here?
He said, I see calls from earlier. Well, of course you do. We were trying to call you.
Yeah, we're trying to get through, but every time we call, no one picks up. I guess we can try once more here. We'll do that now.
We might just have to go, us two.
Yeah.
Because that's weird. That's I mean, it's gonna keep doing the same thing, Colin. It's gonna keep doing the same thing here.
Yeah.
It's not gonna go through.
So what?
He's got his settings there somewhere funky, and
Right.
it's not necessarily his fault, but it's just
Our producer says something inadvertently in your settings is stopping
his Skype might need updated.
calls from coming through. It's possible that your Skype might need an update or something. Period.
Yep. That'll cause it, and we are all updated here, and it does happen, unfortunately, and even with Zoom and Google Meet, that does happen. So
yeah, so there's no point trying to put him on the telephone here because no one will be able to hear it, and
no,
yeah, we can't do that.
No.
Okay, so I need to just let him know that it's not going to work.
Right? Yeah, say
okay. I know that sometimes updates need to be done, but it looks like it's on your end. My producer guarantees me that we're
it worked.
Here.
I called 3 other people.
Period. Yeah, we've been using
I literally made a call right before the show.
Anyway, understand that we can't do it, brother, and I appreciate your time and the effort. Period.
It's okay. No big deal.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Okay, yeah, exactly. But anyway, we would have loved to have chat with Chris Light. I mean, the good thing is that he's never let us down in being available and trying to come through. And I think this is actually the first time he's had a problem with Skype. But, like we know, a lot of people don't use Skype. It's possible the last time he used it was 8 months ago, 9 months ago, last time we had him on the show. And since then,
I was going to say, wait, you're looking ways away from the mic.
Sorry, I'm looking ways away from the mic?
Yeah, now you're looking talking right into it, but now.
Okay.
You're better now. But when you go like this, remember, it gets quieter.
Oh, that's right. If I'm like that, then I'm away. Okay, I got it.
No, so, if you're the other direction.
If I'm this way, it's quiet. Okay,
yes.
Gotcha. Okay, so what happens sometimes that I think is unfortunate is software will at some point basically send a message without sending it that says to the person, well, if you haven't done this update, we're essentially deactivating your app. And they're not
deactivating it. It just doesn't work.
It's just not going to work, right? And not only that,
it's just called deprecation of code. And
right.
It's a natural evolution.
Exactly. What's unfortunate is though that they won't actually send the message saying, "Hey, bro, by the way, if you don't do this update, you're going to find you're not going to be able to use our app." It just kind of leaves people to not know. And I think that's one thing that could be fixed is perhaps the last time that that an update sends someone an update, it'll say if this update is not installed, it's going to render our app useless on your phone or whatever, because otherwise people don't know. But anyway,
you just have to keep things updated, unfortunately, in 2022.
Yeah, it happens. But anyway, Chris is saying he's sorry it's never happened on his end, and we accept his apology totally. No stress at all.
No big deal.
Yep. So anyway, Dr. Adam Roorda, tell him we'll do it again soon.
We'll actually do it.
Yep.
soon. Tell him we'll try again soon. We can get it figured out.
Okay.
And there's a good fight this weekend for us to talk about anyways. And
yes, that's it. Where do you want to start?
Actually, there's a couple really good fights. First off,
there are.
I'm just gonna start off with, let's go down here because they're starting right about the Brendan Allen fight. Really is the one I'm looking up to.
So that's an interesting fight. We had Brendan on the show a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And let's look at his record. He's only 26. They're both 26, these guys.
Yep.
Although he's got 8 UFC fights. Count them up for me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, and he is 6-2 in the UFC.
He's 6-2, right? He lost to Sean Strickland. No shame in that. Strickland is on a killing streak. He lost to Chris Curtis, where he got caught, and then came back with an impressive submission over Sam Alvey, who I think is a jiu-jitsu brown belt and is a good wrestler out of Dan Henderson's team. And so, man, he is looking really good. He's tall. for the division, 6'2" at a middleweight, and he's super young. He's about a 2.5 to 1 favorite here. Let's look at his opponent. Jacob Malkoun is an Aussie. They call him the Mamba. He's 6'1", as shown here on this reference site we're looking at. For some reason, some other reference sites have him as 5'9" or 5'10". I don't think so. I do think he's all of 6 feet or 6'1", and I think that he's not going to be giving away that much height and length to Allen. Let's look at his UFC history. He's got
2-1.
2-1. In his first fight, he was kind of thrown to the wolves. Phil Hawes.
That's really getting. That's an understatement for a first fight, really.
And it's happening like crazy in the pandemic era, as we call it. Everybody that's getting a shot, it's like, Adam, if they let you in here in your
that's why I'm like laughing
in your
at
mid-late
this one.
30s,
I'm like,
right? And they said your first fight's going to be against, let's see, Max Holloway.
Right.
You know, it's like, oh, thank you.
Thank you. I mean, I would love to do it. But.
Yeah, you would love it, but your body, your teeth, and your girlfriend wouldn't like probably the result. You know, you never know though. You might have a chance. But anyway, so they threw him to the dogs against Phil Hawes. He got caught 18 seconds in, which at least it
might
wasn't
have a chance.
Yeah, they're right, exactly. Which might happen with you and Max Holloway, or with me and anybody. You know, but anyway, at least it wasn't.
There's a couple guys in that weight class I could probably see it, but not him.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm going home in a body bag, though.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Especially if you didn't cut weight, you might be going against more guys more like Hamzat or Islam Makhachev or something like that. But anyway, so he didn't take a sustained beating. So sometimes it's better to just get caught like that and not sustain beating, because he came back with a good win against Abdul Razak Al Hassan a little bit over a year ago.
Solid 3 rounds, both his more recent fights, and with the win, unanimous.
Came back 10 months later and beat AJ Dobson. So he's on a 2-fight winning streak. I think Malkoun's got a chance here.
I do too. Listen, I'm actually not going to pick this one.
It's close. I mean,
it's close in my opinion. It really is.
The odds makers, I mean, are favoring. Here's another thing. Brendan Allen, I think every pro fight he's been in has been in this country, and every UFC fight he's been in, I think, has been at Las Vegas Apex, except for one that was in Florida. He's never gone anywhere outside of the country as a pro fighter, and now he's going to Singapore. Now, he's trained in Thailand, some people have said, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's used to a professional fight in a foreign country. On the flip side of it, the man training over in Australia is going to be closer. I know I'm not an expert in geography, but I believe for sure that Australia will be closer to Singapore than the United States.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's got to be. So that could have an effect there, but bottom line is almost.
You really are like.
Yeah, almost.
Geography wasn't your thing.
Well, I'm better than a lot of Americans, I'll tell you that. Even though that doesn't say much. That doesn't say much at all. But anyway, so a lot of people are not giving Malkoun a chance here. I mean, Brendan Allen is looking really polished. I will admit it. He is. He's got 23 fights. How many fights does Malkoun have? Like 12, half the fights or something?
No, not even that. He's 6-1 as a.
Wow,
pro,
so 4 times the fights almost, and they're both 26 years old. You know, I mean, that doesn't bode that well for Malkoun, but I'll tell you what, this is kind of like his Super Bowl early on in his career. If he beats Brendan Allen, people are going to say, who is this? Jacob Malkoun. People will know his name. People will be saying his name. He won't have to. He'll have to tell people to get.
That's why I was bringing up this fight, because it's gonna be exciting.
I think so.
It'll be fireworks.
Yeah, I think so. And not any sort of guarantee. I'm not necessarily.
I can't take a pick on it. Like,
it's hard.
That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I mean, there's value in Malkoun at 3-1 dog. There is value, but I'm not going to necessarily say I'm going to pick him, but I think there's value when he's got a chance. All right, next up, what do we got? Is this the next fight up?
It's not the next fight up, but this is the one I'm interested in next.
Yes, this is going to be fire, man. This is going to be fire, and we're talking about the 135 or 125. I think this is 125. Can you look up real quick and what it shows him at? Yeah, this is 125. And Manel Kape has been killing it, and Rogerio Bontorin is a killer as well. The Brazilian is 30 years old, 16-4. He's got what, 7 or 8 UFC fights, I think, or at least 6 or 7. And he was on a good win streak. Actually, I think like 6. Yeah, 6 or 7, right?
Yeah, 6.
Okay. He came in. He won his first couple. He did lose to Ray Borg. No shame in that. He did lose to Kai Kara France, especially as good as Kai has been looking recently. No shame in that. Kai's about to get a title fight. In fact, I think he has it signed, I think, with Figueiredo or someone close to that. And then Brandon Royval did just get by him by a split. So Bontorin actually is 0 wins, 1 no contest, and 3 losses in his last 4 fights. So his back's a little bit against the wall, and he's a very tough fighter. Let's look at Starboy Manel Kopp. He's also 30 years old. He's been doing a bit better than that. He hasn't been in the UFC nearly as long. Instead of 6 fights, he's got 4 fights. His first fight,
and honestly, he's in one of the top 3 promotions previously as well, in my opinion.
He was, where was he?
Risen.
Risen? Yeah, Risen, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. He had some good fights there. He lost. They threw him to the dogs against Alexander Pantoja in his first fight. He lost in his second fight. They threw him pretty much. No, who was the second fight? Mateus Nicolau. Yeah, they threw him to the dogs in his second fight, and he barely lost to Nicolau. Yep. And then he came back and caught, and now he's been killing it since then. He came back and caught Ode Osborne with a flying knee and punches in the first, and then came back 3 months later and caught Zalga Samugulov. And Kopp has been looking like a killer.
I remember you called that one too. I got that one wrong.
I think, yeah, it's possible. Let's look at the fight odds, because I'm curious what the odds are. They got to be favoring Kopp. Yeah, Kopp is minus 250, minus 260, minus 240. You know, I mean, Bontorin, someone's dangerous when their back is against the wall. I really like to say that. I was talking to one of my friends who's also an MMA journalist, and the other day on the phone, and they said, no, I love to fade someone whose back is against the wall because they've been losing, and now there's all kinds of pressure and their back's against the wall. But if they've been losing, they're probably maybe not that great, so they'll probably keep losing. That's one way to look at it, but I also find some of these guys with a back against the wall fight especially hard. So I think Kopp's got to be careful. I think Bontorin is live here. I'm not going to go so far as to pick him to win, but I think Bontorin's going to be fighting really hard, so Manel Kopp better be careful. Okay, then we have the rematch of a fight I was in. Were you with me at that fight?
Yes, I was.
Yes, we were there in person before the pandemic. No, it was during no, that's 2022. Their first fight. Go back and show me their first fight. I think it was right before the pandemic started. Wasn't it January of 2020? No, December. No, wait.
It was March. It was the beginning of the pandemic.
Yes, right at the beginning of the pandemic. And I felt Joanna won that. Her head, I mean, God bless her. What woman fighter, what man fighter is going to feel okay when your head is swollen to literally 3 times the normal size, or literally at least twice the normal size, and she kept staying in there? What guts does she have? I'll tell you this, and I've said this before, I've been face to face with a lot of male and female fighters when I've interviewed them, and it's no stare down or anything, but when I was standing next to Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and you know, when I'm in shape, I'm about 185, 190 pounds, and she was...
I still think this was the best fight.
Yeah, I was going to say, just real quick, I was standing next to her, and she was cutting weight, so she was probably close to 115 pounds, maybe 120, and so here I am, a man, I outweighed her by 65 pounds, and the intensity I felt from her, it looked like she was almost looking through me. Like if I got her mad, it was going to be bam, and I'd be on the ground. I don't think I felt that intensity from a female fighter before. This woman is freaking serious.
Right.
And the fact that she kept in there throwing while her head was swelling up with a huge hematoma, mad respect for her. I felt she won that fight. Several other people in the media room did. I talked to Dana White directly afterward of the post-fight press conference, and he had felt Zhang. He knew it was a close fight, and I didn't and he asked how many other people felt Joanna, and several hands went up. So this is going to be the place where Joanna gets her revenge. I think she is my pick. She's a slight dog here. I think she's maintained herself, maybe even getting slightly better. Wei Li Zhang is taking a little bit of a decline. They're both going to fight hard because the winner of this is absolutely in conversation now for Carla Esparza's title. And I'll tell you what, even though MMA math doesn't always add up, when Carla Esparza first won the title by winning the Ultimate Fighter reality show, I forget what season it was, 22 or 3, I'm probably wrong, and when the winner of that season was going to fight for the inaugural women's strawweight title in the UFC, there had never been that division before. Rose Namajunas beat Carla Esparza beat Rose Namajunas, and her first defense was a somewhat unknown Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and Joanna just beat the brakes off of Carla Esparza. Like, beat her like a redheaded stepchild, as the old saying would go. And so I know Joanna would love that title shot again. Now, since then, Carla has improved a lot, and Joanna probably has improved somewhat. But I'll tell you what, you know, if you're going in there against an opponent who you just put it on, who you just owned and dominated, you're going to go in with a lot of confidence. And so I know she wants that chance. And between you and me and everyone watching, if she beats Wei Li Zhang here, I do feel, I mean, some people will say run it back with Rose, although that fight was really anticlimactic just a couple months ago with Rose and Carla. All respect to both of them, but I really think that if Joanna wins here, they may do Joanna Carla before they run it back and do Rose Carla 3. So I'm going the Polish phenom, the woman they called Joanna.
I am too, 100% on this one. This is one of my dog picks here.
Joanna Champion for the win. Yep, absolutely. And how much time we have? About 4 minutes. You want to do the others two really quick?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay, we got to be quick here though. Valentina Shevchenko again with the odds making it look like a crush. This is a 6-1 plus favorite. They have the champion minus 600, minus 700, even minus 770 on one sports book. The comeback on the Brazilian Talia Santos is plus 450, plus 550 on one book, even as low as plus 450. Talia Santos is tough as nails. Let's look at her recent performances really quick here, and we'll jump to the main event. So recent performances, she's only 28 years old. She is, wow, look at that, all green, green. Her first fight, Maria Romero Borella caught her just by a split decision. So that could have been a win for Santos. And Santos came back with a vengeance, beat Meatball Molly McCann, beat Jillian Robertson, beat Roxanne Modafferi, and beat up Joanna Wood, formerly Joanna Calderwood. This girl is tough. I'm not going to say she beats Valentina Shevchenko, but unlike a lot of Valentina's opponents who are kind of a little intimidated from the start, this Brazilian girl is a beast. She's going to go in there, I'm sure, with looks to kill. She's going to, once they say fight, she's going to go in there and attempt to beat the brakes off of Valentina Shevchenko, and I think it's going to be a fight.
I think it's going to be a fight too, and I'm going with the dog on this one.
Wow, officially going to go for why not? There's so much money and value in it. It would be one of the upsets.
I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is this.
I'm watching the competition levels with Valentina. Honestly, they've just been going down.
Yeah,
and no offense to the gals out there, a lot of beasts that she's beat.
Oh yeah, but I mean, Santos is legit. I mean, in all honesty, she should be 5-0 if she didn't lose a split decision in her very first fight, where she was probably a little bit more cautious than she should have been. Anyway, I may go for you. I may pick the upset. I'm not going to do it officially now, possibly later in one of the videos I released during the week, but I think she is live. Main event, Love by Glover Teixeira, 42 years old, 33-7. What is he on, a 7-fight win streak now? I think he is. Look at that. Look at that. 6 or 7. And he is looking great. Yes, at some point age will catch up with him. But Jiri, where is Jiri again from? He's from the Eastern Bloc somewhere, isn't he? Czech Republic. Yeah, he is tough. 29 years old. That makes a 14-year age difference. He's 2 inches taller. If Glover can't get that fight to the ground, look at all those finishes. Wow.
Just look at all that green first off.
And almost all of them by knockout.
Yeah.
So I tell you what, though, as you know, Dr. Adam Roorda, you could take the biggest knockout guy in the world. And if he doesn't have a good takedown defense, and he's with the guy who's a very good wrestler and a very good grappler, he can be smashed.
Right.
And he can be skunked. I don't know if he's going to be completely skunked, but I think Glover wins. Glover is my pick, although it's a scary pick. What are the odds have it right now?
I'm not going that way. I'm just not.
You gonna go Jerry or
Yep. I'm going with Jerry.
And they have the challenger, the favorite, just because of age, man. At some point, if Glover wins this, finally they're probably going to make him favored in his next fight, and then that's the fight that he loses. Possibly when age catches up with him, although I hope not. He's so great.
And that's where my head's at with it too.
You think age might catch up with him here?
Yeah. Yep.
And Yuri is super exciting. I'll tell you what. Yeah, Glover's got to be really careful. He's got his, and Glover was not any kind of a D1 or even D2 wrestler, but because he's trained with wrestlers for so long, I think he's maybe like a D3 level or maybe possibly D2 level with his wrestling. So he's good and he's strong. And once he gets on top, he anchors himself down. He's heavier than hell, and he puts the punishment on you, you know, in a serious way. So, you know, we will see. It's going to be interesting. All right, ready for our next guest as soon as you are.
And she is ready.
Rock and roll.
Sky dance. Sky dance.
Hey, Vanessa, can you hear me?
Yellow.
I hear you.
I can hear. Can you hear me?
Yep, I got you.
All
Yep.
right.
All we need you to do is
see me?
Yeah, I can't see you yet, but once you hit that video button, within a couple of seconds, I think we will see you. And there, as long as you see yourself on screen, you're good. There you are. Awesome. We are live, so let me give you a proper introduction. We are so happy to have you on the show again. It's been about, I think, 3 or 4 months. And then I saw you a couple months before that at your last victory of the UFC here in LA. Ladies and gentlemen, so happy to have this fighter back on the show. She is super awesome, coming off a great win a few months ago with an amazing fight set for 2 weeks from now. UFC strawweight contender Vanessa Demopoulos. Welcome back to the show.
What's up, everybody?
So glad to see you.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing amazing. Just finished up a training session right now. So I usually like to be a little bit more together, but obviously the gym is the gym. So it is what it is.
Without a doubt.
Flex for you. There's that part.
I love it. Yes, you look great, and I love the content you're putting out. I don't always have a lot of content, a lot of time to be browsing content, but love it. I just looked at something you put on Instagram. You look in amazing shape. You had just done a wrestling workout, and I'm like, damn. I'm like, talk about a 120-some pound woman looking more buff than me. I'm like, wait a second, but I was like, you look great. I mean, your shoulders are popping like mine used to be maybe in my dreams. You know what I mean? And so
thank you so much.
Yeah. And I had some popping shoulders. I did, and I'm still doing pretty good on that. But yeah, you look really good. And I'll tell you what, that grappling and wrestling definitely.
I don't know how to flex really well, but I feel like I got some like veins popping out of my shoulders over here. Like,
yes.
It's pretty insane looking right now.
And
I'm still 130 pounds.
Oh,
so
yeah.
This is like wild to me.
Oh yeah, I mean you'll find
we still have 15 pounds to cut.
I know, right? And you're on your way. But yeah, right now you're close, and you're looking great. You really are looking stronger. I think that I've seen you look before, and so I just I'm so happy to see you do that, because I'm a fan. I'm excited to watch you do your thing, and let's talk about that. We're talking about a 2 weeks from Saturday, and it's going to be the June 25th card, right? And this is going to be your third UFC fight, and it's going to be your first one coming off that great win and really introducing yourself to the UFC and the world. And so a lot of people I know are excited to see you. And so this is an interesting opponent. Jin Yu Fry is your opponent. She was the atomweight champion over at Invicta for quite a while. One of the things she was known as, funny enough, for was having that sort of super shredded body. She was real little, but she was really shredded. She came over to the UFC at first and didn't look that great, but then she kind of turned it on her last couple fights. She is 4 years older than you. You're younger, you're taller. But obviously she's not a slouch. She's no one to overlook. But what do you think about that matchup? Has she ever been on your radar before? And what's your thought when a girl comes up from a lower weight? A lot of people will say, well, this girl's still little. This girl still should be atom weight. But then, I don't know. I think at her age of 37, she probably could not make that weight, even if her life depended on it anymore. But what's your thought about Jin Yu Frey and what you know about her and how she sizes up as an opponent?
Yeah, I feel like someone who's that athletic and that driven to accomplish some of the things that she's accomplished, we don't know what her body composition is truly like, and I do know that there are a lot of fighters that went from straw weight up to the flyweight division, have found success in the flyweight division over their, initial divisions. So I'm not going to be like, oh my God, she's going to be so much smaller than me, because I've gone up in a weight class and I thought that's where I belonged, and I was like, oh no, it's not. But then you see other girls that do it successfully. So she looks strong in that division as well. We'll see how things fare out once we're in the cage, because the sports science shows that I am one of the strongest females in the entire strawweight division. I've broken almost every single record at the PI, so I have a lot of confidence when it comes to my capabilities, my athleticisms. And, when you want to put physique next to physique, that's one thing, but it's about performance.
Yes.
So I happen to look the way I look, but it's because I train the way that I train, and everything is very optimal for me. So I'm very much so looking forward to stepping in there.
Absolutely. And it really is true. I don't normally make comments necessarily on someone's conditioning unless it really, really impresses me. And seeing you real briefly in that Instagram video, I was like, damn, you just look jacked and strong. You look like you could probably elevate a 200-pound man and throw him through the floor.
I do, though.
I bet you do.
Guys up off their feet all the time.
I love it. I love it. And just the energy you have and the enthusiasm, it's gonna be a good day. And I think that you're the fact that you're getting those records, and I did not know at the PI, and that is cool to know, because that definitely gives some good information for people. I don't know if you ever bet on horses, but they used to have bullet performances showing if a horse had the fastest time on that day in the track. And a lot of that information, a lot of people didn't get if they didn't get the racing form and read it. I was a old time, degenerate horse bettor way back, right? And so this is good information, because it makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you looked really good, and it makes sense that you have that determination. It's got to be a good feeling. Do you feel stronger than you've ever felt in your life, and more explosive, or both, probably?
Yeah, and it's one thing to feel a certain way, like, oh man, I feel amazing. But again, when we go back to sports science, when we go back to the numbers, the PI, they do crazy stuff. They do DEXA scans and everything. And I've been having DEXA scans and so forth done prior to me ever entering into the UFC. So I've really gotten to see a lot of the progressions in my body and the way that I've just elevated throughout the years. And it's been so freaking cool, man. Even in this last camp, I put on so much muscle. They were like, how do you do it? It doesn't even make sense. And it's so awesome to see the numbers and everything. I'm so excited.
Yeah, you should be. You should be. It really is impressive. Because I've always been into working out and bodybuilding and martial arts. And yeah, I just saw the difference right in 10 seconds in that Instagram video. I was like, damn, that's Vanessa Demopoulos. Wow. That's like Vanessa Demopoulos 2.0. is what that is right in that Instagram post, So yeah, I love it. Now, let me ask you, this is someone obviously that's in your way to where you're going, and I know you have respect for all your opponents as pretty much every UFC fighter does, but do you ever I wonder, do your coaches or you ever look at a fighter like this who, she was a champion for Invicta, even though it was at a lower weight? She does have a couple wins, but she's not she's rated in the top 10 or anything. Do you ever look at an opponent like this and say, we need to go in there and just beat the brakes off this girl. We need to go in there and make this look ugly, like she shouldn't even have shown up for this fight? Or does that not really ever want to come into your mind or your coach's mind?
I mean, is there ever a fight that's not like the part that you're trying to look forward to?
Right.
is there ever a time where you're walking into the cage like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna coast through this.
Right.
Like, what the heck? Like, that's not like if that I don't know. Like, I guess maybe some people think of that manner. Yeah, I don't know. I'm always all gas, no brakes. Like, my coaches have to pull me out of the gym, literally every single fight camp. Like, I get suspended from training.
I love it.
It's yeah, I'm just a goer, man. Like, it doesn't matter who's in front of me. Like, I'm just going.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I don't even have to be training for a fight, honestly. And I get kicked out of the gym sometimes, even that, like, during that time, you know, like when I'm just on cruise control. So,
absolutely.
like, put somebody in front of me, like, yeah, this is it. Like,
absolutely.
It's my life. I live this.
Absolutely. I love that. I wonder if my producer, Dr. Adam Roorda, can pull up the odds for that June 25th fight. I don't know if you've looked or if you're that much into it. I forgot. But let's take a look here, and then you can answer.
You are very echoey, and it's a little bit difficult for me to understand you, and I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem at all. Doc, is there anything I can do to change that? He's going to see, actually, possibly, but there might not be. If not, maybe I'll talk a little bit quieter. Is it a little bit easier if I don't talk as loud?
No, hang on 1 second. Let me try.
No problem.
Something.
And then we're looking for June 25th, Dr. Adam Roorda. So, and then there we go. Okay, that would be the card. No, that's the 18th, isn't it? So they're not even showing the June 25th card up there. Oh, wait. Back up. No, they're not. They are not. They don't have the odds up. Okay.
Yeah, no, I haven't been able to find much information on the card. I was trying to find out like when our start times and all that kind of stuff. I can't really find anything except for who the main event is.
Gotcha.
Which is an old teammate of mine, Armand.
Oh, wow.
I'm very excited to watch that. Mm-hmm.
And who is he going against?
Oh, man, I don't know.
No problem. Sorry to put you on the spot. But anyway, so this is an interesting fight. It's definitely one you'll have confidence in. I would think they would make you the favorite on that. Do you ever project that or predict that to see, do I expect? I mean, do you ever like close your eyes and someone says, here's the odds on your fight, and you say to yourself, let me see, do I think I'm going to be the favorite or not? Here we go. I see the main event. We got it. Oh, your friend is Armand Sarukian?
Yes.
Wow.
He used to train at Black House, and then he also trained at Saxon with me as well. And then I think he still currently trains with Edwin over at
Glendale.
Gracie Baja in Tarzana.
Okay.
So, and I've been over there a lot as well. So
very cool. He is a beast. Armand Sarukian is a beast, and that is
my gosh, yes he is.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
I think he got like 13 takedowns one of his fights. Like, it was just absolute insanity.
Oh, yeah. He is really, really good. I remember his last fight, I picked him, and I forgot who he was going against. I think a guy who was like 4 inches taller than him, and everyone's like, oh, no, this guy's going to frustrate him. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I think this kid Sarukian is a murderer. And, yeah, he is. And that fight is a good fight. He's going up against Mateus Gamrot. Wow. And so you got Sarukian at 18-2, and there goes the connection with Vanessa DeMott. Here we go. Hey, Vanessa, we lost you. We got you back. Can you hear me? You got me?
I'm sorry. Do whatever you got to do, man.
Not a problem. We got you. You're all good. You're all good. So, yeah, that's a great fight with your friend Armand Sarukian and Mateus Gamrot. Gamrot is 20-2 and Sarukian is 18-2. Wow, that's such a good card. And then look in the co-main. Co-main is Shavkat Rakhmonov against Neil Magny. That's going to be sick. Chris Curtis against the Jiu-Jitsu World Champion.
Neil Magny's on this card? Oh, I freaking love Neil Magny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I'll tell you what. This guy, Shavkat Rakhmonov, Vanessa, is like 20-0 with like 15-0 with like 12 stoppages. This guy's
OMG.
Yeah, this guy's like from Kazakhstan, I think. Dr. Adam Roorda, go up a little bit. He is from Kazakhstan. Yeah, this is one of those Habib type guys. They call him the nomad Shavkat Rakhmonov. That's going to be sick with Neil Magny, because Neil better be on point, because this kid has been wiping people out. And but Neil is so sick. This is a great card. And where is
Neil's a freaking gamer, man. That's one thing. Like, that's like why I love Neil Magny so much. Like, I mean, on top of him just being like a dope person, like he's just a freaking gamer, bro. Like he's never gonna be there. So like you put anybody in front of him and like he's stepping in that cage.
Without a doubt. And let's go down. Let me ask my producer to go down and see where we see Vanessa, as least tentatively on this card. Is she? Yeah, there we go. So as of right now, out of like 12 fights, they have your fight on SureDog as the 4th fight into the show. So that's not a bad position. Yeah,
that's always like we don't. I mean, I have no idea. I literally never find out until like fight week when we show up and it's like posted somewhere.
Right.
Yeah. So.
But that would be cool. That's pretty close to being like the main event of the preliminaries. Maybe 1 or 2 fights off of being the main event of the prelims, and that's cool because they're going to start giving you some more love as time goes by for sure. So, who are some of the people that are helping tune you up for this fight, if it's not a secret?
Oh, right now I've been working a lot with my head coach, Santino. Also, one of my super awesome close training partners, Kyle Estrada. He's got some of the most cleanest striking that I've ever seen. Like his striking is just so pretty. And also like Chance Ike, and so he's got some dope wrestling. You know, like I have Angel Cejudo as my wrestling coach,
right?
Who is obviously Henry Cejudo's brother.
Yes, at Fight Ready.
Obviously,
yep.
One of like the most accomplished wrestlers that you could work with. Period.
Nice.
So, yeah, I mean, Henry Cejudo, you know, gold medalist in the actual Olympics.
Oh, yeah.
So,
big respect.
Yeah.
Sorry, I left you dead air there. I was just letting you talk. But yeah, that's Fight Ready. Yeah, I forgot. You're at Fight Ready. That's absolutely insane. That's such a great school, isn't it?
Yeah. So, yeah, you know, I mean, I'm out there. I'm not just surviving. I'm doing the damn thing at a school like that.
I like it. So Angel Cejudo's there. Does he weigh about as much as Henry, or is he bigger?
They are different sizes. Yes.
Gotcha. Does Henry mix it up sometimes? Have you ever felt Henry in a little bit of training, or does he usually not train with the girls or anything?
Oh yeah, no. Henry comes in there. He comes in. You know, he does a lot more coaching now than anything. So even like today, he was in there coaching Clarissa, who was Clarissa Shields. Who was in there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Killer.
Yeah, that was actually amazing. And then I got to roll jiu-jitsu with her, so that was really cool.
Nice.
Some things.
Nice. Mm-hmm. She is such a good athlete.
And it's like you're at a gym like this where it's like we just have all of these superstars like coming in there on a consistent basis. Like, I mean, it's pretty awesome. You know, it's pretty awesome to see these people, you know, and be able to just like be so close with them.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. So how many more fights would you like to have this year, if possible? Because this one coming up will be your second. And how many would you want? Would you want 4, or is 3 good enough? Would you take 5? What's your feeling?
Yeah, I would like 4. You know, 3 is... I'm absolutely going to fight again before the end of the year. I like fighting. Like, I love being in there, you know. And since signing with the UFC, it's actually been almost like I've had to been like held back a little bit, you know, because I'm like, I come from the jiu-jitsu background where I was competing every single week.
Right. You
know, like every other week I was somewhere else in the world fighting. You know, usually I was just like hopping on planes, traveling and competing. Like it was just absolutely. So like, I'm just a gamer, which I'm so excited now to be doing broadcasting as well, because I feel like for me that kind of gets to like scratch that itch that I have for being immersed amongst the fighting world, you know, and getting to study fights and be excited about fights and be there in person and watching and being a part of the action. If I could share my passion with the world in a different way, you know, so I love it so much. And yeah, going back to your original question, like, of course I would love to, I'm going to fight at least more time this year. Fight is pretty awesome, but definitely one more.
Awesome. Where can people find you doing your commentary? I didn't know about that. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, so I am the official EBI commentator, which EBI is on UFC Fight Pass and combat jiu-jitsu, and then also I do fight analysis breakdowns. I am the co-host of the Extra Rounds on UFC Fight Pass.
That's so awesome. And Eddie Bravo Invitational, an absolutely awesome, super respected tournament. That's been going on for what, 20 years maybe?
Yeah, I mean, some of the highest names in the jiu-jitsu community, period, have come out of there. You know, you have the Gordon Ryans, you have the Gary Tonin, and Gio Martinez, you know, like
Yep.
Mr. Boogeyman. Like, you have like all of like the greats of jiu-jitsu when it comes to the no-gi scene
Yep.
have come through the EBI.
Absolutely. Richie Boogeyman Martinez, awesome, and Gio, his brother, awesome. So many great guys. Tonin, Gordon Ryan. You know, I think I may have told you we had Gordon on the show about 6 months ago, and did a great interview with him. Really, really cool dude. And you know, we had Danielle Kelly on a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you know her, but she's she's really,
Of course.
she's really cool, unique girl, and she's trying to get ready to jump into MMA, and you know, and then we had Buchecha.
Oh, that's interesting news.
Yeah,
That's
she's
interesting news.
Yeah, she's actually signed with One Championship. And so it looks like that's where it will be, and they're working on that. And she had a lot to say and a lot of interesting thoughts. She had she's really little. I think she walks around at maybe 115 or something, and so she's been fighting a lot of bigger girls. And when she went up against Carla Esparza in that grappling match that ended with like a clash of heads, and Carla couldn't continue. She said in that matchup they didn't allow any leg locks. And I think they wanted to make sure that the UFC fighters didn't get caught and hurt before an important fight. Not that, you know, they needed to worry about them getting hurt, because UFC fighters are great grapplers too. But she said that that with that restriction, it caused, you know, her to you know, strategize a little bit differently. And she said that she wasn't able to move. She said Carla's arms felt like they were made out of cement. She said she was just so strong, and I think Carla outweighed her, she said, maybe by like 20 pounds on the day of the match. And she said it was after that match that she decided she's not going to fight bigger girls anymore in matches, I guess, which makes sense because it can be a big disadvantage, right?
Yeah, I actually used to be training partners with Carla Esparza.
Oh wow, she's strong, right?
I know what she feels like. Yeah, she's a strong little cookie monster. She is.
Yep, she is. She really is.
Yes, she is.
And I interviewed her.
Yeah, I
about a
believe
year
I
ago.
remember watching that, like leading up part. I didn't watch the actual match, and I think Carla weighed in at 126.
Right.
And Danielle Kelly weighed in at like 114.
Okay, so
it wasn't
it wasn't as big as I was just mentioning, that 12-pound difference or something. But yeah, no, Carla is awesome. We interviewed her about a year ago, and she has such a great personality. It was great to see her get that victory over Rose. It was a tough fight. They were both, you know, just sometimes styles make fights, and that was a tough one, but that could have gone either way. But let's talk a little bit about some other women's fights if we can coming up. I'd love to get your opinion. As you know, this Saturday there are 2 really big women's fights. There might even be 3. Dr. Adam Roorda, can you pull up that card just so we can make sure we're not leaving anyone out? Because I think that a lot of women's fighters will really make sure to watch other women's fights along with men's fights. And I think you're one of them. You make sure that you catch the women's fights usually in the UFC, right?
Oh, I mean, I try to watch all the fights. Yeah.
Nice.
Especially now, like I'm much more immersed into the sport.
Awesome. And so that card is the one she's on, Doc, but I'm talking about this Saturday's card if possible. But anyway, let's go to the ones that we know, because I'm thinking there might be a 3rd fight on this Saturday with women. There we go. Okay, and so if we're looking and we look down, and then we go a little bit lower, is there anybody? Yes, there is. Okay, so yeah, I'm not going to worry too much about Jocelyn Edwards and Ramona Pasquale, because I don't think enough people know them. But let's talk about the 2 big ones, the co-main and the co-main. And I think the women are both of those, which is always exciting to see the women get some shine like that. And if you go up a little bit, Dr. Adam Roorda, just so I can make sure that I'm not wrong, and a little bit higher all the way. There we go. Yeah, women's fight are the co-main and the co-main. Main event, of course, being Glover Teixeira against Yuri Prokaska. But let's go to the co-main. Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Weili Zhang, or Zhang Weili, number 2. I was at the first one with Dr. Adam Roorda in press row right when the pandemic was starting. It was absolutely crazy. That was one of the most brutal, insane fights ever. I'm sure you remember it. I mean, wow. If anyone had any doubt as far as like men or even women about women's ability to be able to fight and take punishment and dish it out, that was the fight to watch, because that left no doubt. It's amazing that Joanna, with such a huge hematoma on her head, was able to stay in there round after round after round. But I mentioned that I stood next to Joanna in an interview once, and she only, you know, weighs like 120 right during fight week, and I was like 190 pounds, and the intensity from her, I felt like she wanted to lift me up and body slam me on the ground. Not that she was mad at me, but she was, man, that girl is intense, like ice cold. She just looked like she could just kill a good sized man. But she is. I felt she won that fight.
Okay.
I felt she won that fight. It was close. I felt she won it. What do you think in this rematch? This slight underdog is Joanna. Weili Zhang. Give me the Little Monster demo breakdown on that, if you would, and your thoughts.
Yeah, I'll definitely say that during the first match, it was so freaking close.
Yeah.
And it was so difficult to even be able to. I don't want to be one of the judges on that fight. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And then, especially with Weili coming off of this loss to Rose, she's coming off of 2 losses. So now you're looking at somebody who's coming back with like a super vengeance versus somebody who's just kind of like chose to retire, didn't want to fight anymore. Now they're coming back. And Joanna's one of the most intense individuals, like you said, like in the whole division. So it's really difficult to bet against her. And I know that she's over at ATT. And who was her teammate who just won over the weekend against Felice Herring?
That was Karolina, the other girl from Poland, Karolina Kowalkiewicz,
who gave JJ so much praise in her win and in her victory. So it's like, that JJ's out there running, gunning, and giving that same intensity, not only to her own camp, but being able to exude that energy onto others. I know that Weili came out here for her camp against Rose to fight ready. Mm-hmm. And, I got to see the way that Weili trains and how focused she is in her trainings. So it's going to be a really awesome fight for me to be able to watch, from the outside perspective, because I've seen little glimpses here and there on both sides of the camp. Well, I haven't seen anything from JJ,
right,
but I've gotten to see things from Weili, and it's like just knowing the intensity of JJ. I'm really looking forward to this fight. Without a doubt. As everybody should be. Oh, yeah. If you see the first fight, like the way that it went down, it's like, holy shit. I was actually pissed that their fight was so good because my fight versus Lupi Godinez was so freaking awesome. I was like, we had the best female MMA fight in history. And then there was like Weili and Joanna right after that. And I was like, damn it, why did it have to be so good? I know, right? I know, it took away a little bit of your shine, but yeah, that was incredible. But I'll tell you what, with the fact that that was 5 rounds and that was for a title, people can say to themselves, is this one going to be like different in either their mindset being that it's 3 rounds and not for a title, or do you think essentially their mindset is going to go in there, and just bite down on their mouthpiece and maybe even go harder since it's a shorter fight? Yeah, I think that they go harder, honestly. Nice. Because like there isn't 5 rounds, like there is only 3 rounds, so you don't have to pace yourself. Not that there was any pace. The only pace that they had was fucking pedal to the metal for 5 freaking rounds. Yes. So yeah, this is going to be an exciting match. Absolutely, I can't wait to see it. And then one weight division up, that was your weight division, the straw weight. One weight division up at flyweight, Valentina Shevchenko against Talia Santos. It's interesting when someone starts getting the aura of a Valentina Shevchenko, it just almost seems like they could put her in against the devil himself and she'd be the favorite. You know what I mean? Because she's just that good. But it's interesting because the Brazilian Talia Santos is very, very tough. I think she's 4-1, 5-1 in the UFC, and the first fight in was a split decision loss, so she essentially could be 5 or 6-0 in the UFC. She's very tough. She's gone in there and kind of like manhandled or woman-handled, if you will, several of her opponents. She's big-sistered several girls and really made it look like she's just, a really strong beast of a fighter. And they're making her about a 5-1 dog in this fight. I mean, I guess I understand that because Valentina is who she is, but I kind of feel like maybe this is not going to look like a complete wipeout. I think this Brazilian's tough. Any thoughts? What do you think? Yeah, I think that this Talia Santos. Yeah, I think Talita is going to be so much tougher than people are giving her credit for. Yeah. And sometimes people don't have the same marketability dollars behind them, like the way that they've kind of obviously been able to push Valentina, because I don't feel like Valentina is very loud. Right. She's just as amazing as she is.
Yes.
You know, but also I feel like Talita is amazing. She just hasn't gotten the opportunity to truly shine. And but I mean, man, it is Valentina that we're talking about here.
Yeah.
So you know, that's going to be very, very tough to look past. So Talita's definitely going to have her hands full, but I think Valentina's got her hands full as well.
Without
I think this is probably going to be the toughest opponent that Valentina has faced in her last several bouts. You know, so it's going to be really, really amazing to be able to watch this one.
I think so too. When you have a fighter like Valentina who's been the hammer for so long instead of being the nail, I mean, even in the fights with Amanda Nunes, she wasn't really the nail. They were kind of both the hammers. Like, what happens if Talita Santos gets on top of her and starts like grounding and pounding her, or throws some elbow and cuts her and starts like making her bleed? What do you think in the mind of someone like Valentina, who's just not been the nail for so long? Could that be something that could catch her off guard, or make her feel like really out of her element? Or do you think just the warrior in her would not really let that be much of a problem for her, even if it happened?
It's hard to say because we've never seen her be the nail,
right.
You know, so you know, you don't know who a fighter truly is until they've actually been through those fires.
Right.
And for example, like, I've been through so many fucking fires.
Yes.
Like, you already know, like, you're not, like, hitting me with a brick isn't going to put me away, you know, like, so, but with Valentina, like, we've never really seen her in a compromising position before. So it's going to be very intriguing to see what ends up happening if Talita does end up being tougher than we are all anticipating, you know, because 5-1 odds, like, that's pretty fucking rough.
Yeah, it is.
You know, like, that's really rough, and I think that people are going to be shocked to see more of a struggle than what everyone's anticipating.
Oh yeah, because I think Talita Santos is going to go in there looking to kill. I mean, when they say get ready, you know, fight, she's going to go in there to try to beat the brakes off of Valentina Shevchenko, I think. And I think a lot of these girls that Valentina have fought almost seem to be a little intimidated going in to the fight, and I don't think the Brazilian is going to be that way. I think she's going to be looking that mean face she usually has, and once they say fight, she's going to, like, I'm going to go and beat this girl, you know, like a redheaded stepchild, as they used to say. And so it's going to be interesting to see. Would you start yelling if Santos got on top and started landing some ground and pound?
And here's your analysis for UFC 275, coming to you live from Little Monster Demo in Singapore.
Love it. I love it. You are on the call. I think you should be in there.
I don't even know if it was 275. I was just.
It is. You guessed right. You guessed right.
Oh my gosh, really? That's amazing.
That's it. You're on it. Even when you don't know, your good karma brings you onto the right track. Cool. Let me ask you. I love it. Main event: Yuri Prochazka, Glover Teixeira. What do you think?
Well, I think that Yuri is absolutely an incredible athlete. He's one of the best athletes in the entire division, athletically speaking. But when you look at someone like Glover Teixeira, who's had so many overcomings in life and has learned how to meditate and just be as elite as he is in every single area of striking, grappling, wrestling, like, there's literally no holes in his game. And someone who is so at peace with who they are, and has truly, like, risen to become the champion at the age that he's become. Like, you already know that that's going to be something absolutely incredible. So I'm really looking forward to that fight as well. I think if there's any sort of battle in this fight, it's the age bracket, you know, where Yuri's obviously younger, so he's able to be more agile. He's very agile. He was another one who was over at Fight Ready for a while.
Oh, wow.
And I got to see how much he floats like a freaking butterfly, man.
Yeah.
So his striking is just beautiful. So it's going to be really awesome to be able to watch that stuff unfold in the cage.
Me too. So I have a feeling you're not going to be doing anything else this Saturday night but watching UFC fights. Am I right?
I mean, do I ever do anything else except for watch UFC fights?
I love that. You're a perfect girlfriend, though, for a ton of guys, right? Because you look great, you're super charismatic, you're in great shape, and you just said you don't do anything else, right? But watch UFC fights, right? Is that perfect? That's like the fantasy.
You don't got to worry about want me going out partying on the weekends. I'm watching the fight.
I love that. I love that. Well, Vanessa, you are awesome. Let us know what the best social media place is to support you. And also, I know you have your book that you wrote. Let us know where people can get that. Anything else, go ahead and shout it out.
Yeah, man, go check me out, Little Monster Demo on Instagram. Everything else that I end up doing, whether it's selling merchandise or something, is always going to be on there. I am going to be having some collectibles coming up here very shortly. So if you guys want to keep your eyes peeled for that, definitely go over to my Instagram, Lil Monster Demo. And I don't know, I mean, I'm pretty fucking wild and crazy, so I try to share some shit sometimes, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love your posts. Well, you are awesome. Thanks so much for jumping back on with us, Vanessa Demopoulos, Little Monster Demo. You are so awesome and charismatic. Just like you can feel the love coming from you, and you know I feel it. We're going to be cheering for you, our entire team. Can't wait to see you in action June 25th, and keep taking good care of yourself. You're awesome.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you guys soon.
You're very welcome. Have a great night.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. And that was Vanessa Demopoulos. How charismatic is she, Dr. Adam Roorda? Am I right? I mean,
nobody can argue that.
No, it's like the
she's fun. No, like
she's like
the second she pops on. And I think the last time she was on, I'm like, oh
yeah.
Wow, yeah, definitely. We need to make sure we have her on again.
Exactly. And even though this time she didn't have a chance to get dolled up like she did last time, which she looks amazing when she does. This time she came still from training. Doesn't matter. Still, her confidence, her enthusiasm, her love, and everything, and her shine is just like at the top of the list. So, you know, at the top of the chart, I should say. So really awesome. Can't wait to see her fight June 25th. Well, that is actually before, though, I start thanking anyone or sign off, I will throw it to Dr. Adam Roorda, doing an amazing job as always. I'll let you do a good sign off there. Appreciate your brother.
Hey, everybody, go on over to our social media if you're on the Hannibal TV, and that is just at MMA Power Hour. See it going across the screen. We love you all. You're all the best. Colin, another amazing episode. And before I tap out, I want to say head on over. Look for this icon and this logo. It's going to be all over the place pretty soon. It's lithtoken.io. We are putting out a physical NFT marketplace, one of a kind, with an actual technology tied into the blockchain. Unlike everybody else that's creating physical NFTs, we are actually creating a true physical NFT. Everybody else is just taking a physical device that points at something. That's all it does. We actually have the physical device interact with the blockchain with special chips. We all use them in our credit cards and everywhere else, so we're tying it in. We have patent pending on it. Definitely check it out, lithtoken.io. Going to be a cool website coming out within the next week, guys. Definitely get in on that, and also make sure you come in on this show every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Colin does the greatest job. Colin, I'm handing it over to you. Everybody out there, you're the best. I'm tapping out.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Adam Roorda. That icon for Lith Token is rest. And Adam, you yourself are an icon as well. So there's that too, man, especially when the Lith Token continues to take off.
I'm not going to argue that.
You're right. You will be an icon. And you already are. Anyway, thanks so much for the great work you always do, brother. Really appreciate it. In order of appearance on the show, thank you so much to our first guest, which was Mr. Joe Selecki, UFC lightweight contender. Really appreciate you, brother. Our second guest, we did have Chris Lytle set. Lights out Lytle. We've talked to him so many times. Some reason the Skype didn't work this time, but we'll have him on again soon. Thank you for trying, Chris. Really appreciate you. And our third and final guest, the little monster, Vanessa Demopoulos, also called Little Monster Demo, as her handle is on most social media. Go ahead and spread the love in a positive way. Be that guy, be that girl. Take good care of your friends. Be gentle to yourself. Let someone know you got their back if you haven't talked to for a while. It could mean a lot to them. Take good care of your animals. Walk your dog when he or she needs it. Make sure your cat litter is clean. Have good food for them and fresh water. And, you know, the love that will come back will be unconditional as always. Thank you so much for the entire team at the MMA Power Hour. I am Colin Crandall, and for tonight, I am tapping out.